live video. And 3, and 2, and 1. What's up, family and friends? I'm LA, and this is LA Therapy. Welcome to the Fatherhood workshops. Thank you so much for following my weekly podcast, 300 Days to Glastonbury. But now we can get together every other day to share our God-given gifts for thinking and reasoning and making good decisions. Do remember to like, share and subscribe. And this is a journey of discovery for me. Those of you who know about 300 Days to Glastonbury know that I'm a singer, songwriter, poet, and the story with 300 Days to Glastonbury is that I'm trying to write enough songs and rehearse enough to be able to perform somewhere on the Glastonbury stage, and I'm giving myself 300 days. Well, we're in lockdown now and Glastonbury is an uncertainty. However, the podcast continues and the story and the journey continues. But out of the podcast came a question: why does LA want to go to Glastonbury? And the answer is, it's my job. What's my job? To write some songs and get to Glastonbury? No, it's my job to be a super dad. I'm not there yet, and it's not easy, but it's my job to demonstrate to my family and perhaps other families what it means when we say who dares wins. So I'm trying to meet the challenges of being a good dad, a good father and father figure. And that brought around this particular platform. So this one's all about fatherhood. There are 2 principles that we're going to look at in this series of workshops: fatherhood and building strong families. You'll hear me say that all the time. So, listen to this. This is a piece of prose I want to share with you. We'll do that every time we go live. I'll share a piece of prose and we'll pull it apart and see what we can learn together. This one's called I'm Rich. I'm rich, but I'm not free. What the nobility of parental ancestry handed down to me is what defines me. But the sale of my majesty as a price tag, a commodity. I'm rich, but I'm not free. In exchange for work and pension, must I give up all this invention? You can keep your job, I'm taken, and my purpose won't be forsaken. Who I am is not the same as who I want to be. When I win the lottery and purchase mediocrity, I'm rich, worth every stitch, but I'm not me, so I'm not free. I think there are 3 principal themes that come out of that. The money, the ancestry, and the majesty. Let's have a look. Imagine winning the lottery. That last line says, when I win the lottery and purchase mediocrity. Imagine winning the lottery and wasting that. Many of us have great advantages and yet we squander them. I've made that mistake. But we're here to learn. So let's learn together. When we think about families and fatherhood and money, there are a lot of fathers who are under pressure to prove their value by how much they're worth financially. But it's not so much about having the money. It's what you purchase with the money and what you value. So I think that's what that line's about. If I purchase mediocrity with the money I have, I'm still poor. And while we're at it on the question of money, poor people are no worse off in the era of love necessarily than rich people. There's an old Blue Beat record, some of you may remember, look it up if you can, I won't sing it. Money Can't Buy Love, it's called. It's worth thinking about. So that's the money. Second issue that came up in this piece of prose was ancestry. And this speaks of DNA. Check your bloodline. As much as children would like to deny it, we're very much like our parents in specific areas. And so when a son looks into the face of his father, it's a bit of a mirror. Golly gosh. An idea of who you are likely to become. And so sons need their fathers. We've heard this. Daughters need their fathers too. And then there's the question of majesty. What's the line say? But the sale of my majesty is a price tag, a commodity? And the silent answer is no way. See, majesty is much more than a crown on your head or the wearing of mink or ermine. Mums and dads are kings and queens in the home, or should be. Mums and dads are expected to model royal behaviour. And children should honour their parents. But parents should be the first example that the children see of honourable behaviour. Spouses need to honour each other. Honour is an old-fashioned word which we'll unpack in the future. So remember, we're building strong families. And royal behaviour is more than a royal title. There is one other thing to consider from this piece of prose, and that's the word free. Freely you have received, freely give. This is a passage of scripture some of us may be familiar with. Those who read the Bible, Matthew chapter 10, I believe, verse 8. Jesus was making apostles of his disciples, sending them out to heal the sick and cast out demons. And they were told to be generous. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, is the idea. So, that which we have received freely, we should be prepared to share freely. The question of generosity, very key in the context of building strong families. And then there's another scripture, 1 Peter 2:16, where we're told you don't do what you like with your freedom. Some of us are saying we're free as a people or as individuals, and our definition of freedom becomes I'm free to do whatever I like. In this Black Lives Matter era, this current Black Lives Matter era, we speak less about freedom. Freedom is not a term we hear much of anymore. We talk about equality, perhaps, diversity, identity. But freedom in 2020 is taken as a given. We have legal and economic freedom. And so, as a result, the assumption is I can do what I like. In conclusion, I'd ask this question. Hit me up in the comments. Tell me what you think. As a father, do I have the freedom to do what I like in relation to my children? How do I exercise my freedom? That same scripture says, you are free, but you are still slaves to your Father in heaven. So the concept of freedom here includes the concept of accountability. So there you go. Fatherhood, building strong families, and a piece of prose called I'm Rich. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'm LA Therapy, and this is me saying see you next time.